Hello everybody, it's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter and welcome to my weekly episode. It is episode number 285 and it's November the 5th, 2024. And we all know this is a very interesting day, shall we say, for the Americans, but we're not talking about the politics. It will talk for itself. So let's have a little sip of coffee. And let's get right into what I have been working on. Now, you saw some of these yesterday if you saw my vlog, but we're going to talk about these things in a little bit more detail today. Okay, so this is my Gnome Christmas quilt, and this one is entirely made up out of my head. You can probably figure that out. Yes, it is a very busy quilt, but I think it's a lot of fun. And the thing was, when I made it, I had these gnome fabrics, and you know I love gnomes. So I've had these fabrics in my stash for a while and just waiting to be put into a quilt. And that's what I have done here. Now, it is very busy, but I think this would be a fun quilt at Christmas time if people are looking at it, especially kids. Because I have placed the gnomes all throughout it they're peeking out behind things. They're the center of attention. They're in a truck, whatever. And there's something different here every time you look at it. So it's one of those kind of quilts, And the quilting on this quilt as well is, and it's hard to see it here, I know, but is basically more gnomes with some little snowflakes and things. If you look at it carefully, you can see the gnomes peeking out in that too. So the whole thing is kind of where's the gnome, or what do you call those quilts? I Spy quilts or something like that. But it was thrown together with what I had, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I think it's just kind of fresh and fun, and well, yeah, it's there. Okay, let's look at the next thing. This, of course, and I'm hoping today I get it on to Lucy, that's my long arm, to get it, to finish it up, at least long arm it. This is Stephanie Stitch's pattern. Many of you are doing this pattern. It is a great pattern, a lot of fun. It's called Whirling Wonders. And I think the name is self-evident with the windmills in the center of each block, and the blocks were large for this. I think this quilt measures about 65 or 63 by 63, something like that. It's square. And I did deviate from Stephanie's plan a little bit because I chose to do a pieced border as the outer border, and that was just using up the fabrics that were left over from the ones that made all of the blocks. Now, I also used a fat quarter bundle for this that I had sitting around for quite a while. And it's not my usual color scheme nor my usual pattern scheme. This reeks, that's not really a good name for it, is it? Or word to use. This definitely represents sort of vintage fabrics from the 1930s, reproductions, of course. If you're into Lori Holt, it might remind you of that. I'm not really into Lori Holt, although having said that, I was thinking of getting a backing fabric that was Lori Holt, but it's expensive. Here, at least here in Canada, and places I was looking, it was as much as $35 to $40 a meter, and I usually buy 3 meters of wide back. I'm talking wide back fabric. Now, I did think about doing a pieced backing for this, but I don't like pieced backings. Not because I think they look ugly or anything like that. I just don't like working with them on my long arm. Just too many extra bumps and things to go over. So I did find, though, in my stash a backing fabric that I think will work okay with this. And I haven't really picked the design yet for the quilting, but I'm thinking of something that suggests wind, sort of swirls and things like that, because it is called Whirling Wonders after all. So that I'm hoping, as I said, to get it on to Lucy today and get that all done. Now, you saw a different version of this, a smaller version of this bag a couple of weeks ago. And this is an In the Hoop project. It's an In the Hoop tote. I really like doing the In the Hoop tote bags because you can get so much more detail in them because you're embroidering and doing in the hoop applique with them. Now you do have to use your domestic sewing machine to put the pieces all together, but that's not a big deal. The smaller version of this I made was basically I left out one of the panels on the front and one of the panels at the back to make it a little smaller tote for wine bottles. And that little tote bag will carry 2 wine bottles very nicely. But then I decided to do the full size version, and I think it turned out great. So I have 2 bags that match each other, but I am working on a third one, which is not the same pattern, but I'm using the same color scheme and the same idea of florals to make a little zippered pouch. So it'll be a set of 3, and this is going to be a gift for Walters and my hairdresser. And I hope she likes it. But it's, you know, I did it in these kind of colors and in this kind of theme because it kind of goes with everything. You know, like if you want a tote bag to take to the beach, or if you want a tote bag for shopping or whatever. And I think the bright colors in it, you know, just are very cheerful. So I will show you the complete set of those bags when I get the zippered pouch done. And this is the inside of the bag. It is a fully lined bag as well. And again, you do have to use your domestic sewing machine to make the lining for this. You don't do that in the hoop, but they give you instructions for it. I believe this was a Sweet Pea design. No, sorry, it was a Designs by Juju. It's called the Tropical Leaves bag. And yeah, the instructions are very clear, very easy to follow. So if you've never made a tote bag before, but you have an embroidery machine, you might want to give this a go. And this guy, speaking of in the hoop, the Nutcracker, I did him during the pop-up sew day that I held on Saturday, this past Saturday. And I got him all done except for assembling him, and I did that the next day. And assembly is very, very easy. You can see that he is assembled with some buttons. So I had to go through my supply of buttons, and I have a very limited supply, but I found these and I think they work well with it. He is a Nutcracker, and he is quite big. He's about 36 inches tall. So he'll hang somewhere as part of my Christmas decor this December. And oh yes, and I did finish this little project. This was the one I talked about before. It's called Leaves. It's a table topper. Measures 20 by 20 inches, or it could be a wall hanging, a small wall hanging, whichever you prefer. I had great plans to take this pattern and basically add to it to make it into a Quilt of Valor. But, sorry, I keep clearing my throat. It's the morning air. It's just 6 o'clock here. But excuses. Anyways, back to this. But I've got playing around on my design board, and I decided, you know, I was putting way too much effort into this to make it into something that it wasn't meant to be. So stop while you're ahead. So I did. And this is now on my coffee table in my rec room. It fits perfectly there. And you can see that the quilting on it are swirls with maple leaves in it. So I'm really happy with the way that turned out. Okay, so those are the things that I have been up to and working on, and I'm going to show you a little video clip later on in the episode, just showing you what I'm working on now, future projects that are not done, and that kind of thing. But before we get into that, let's talk about what's been happening and what's coming up. Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen is on tomorrow, Wednesday, 9 a.m. start time. All are welcome, and the link is in the show notes. We had the pop-up sew day. It was great. I think at the height of it, we had about 33 people. Everybody seemed to have had a good time, and I think people were very, very productive. I know I was. And it's always great to get together with friends to sew, and that's what I really consider the people who come to the pop-up sew days, because many of you come every time I have a pop-up sew day, and it's great to see you, and it's great to sew with you. So if you've never been to a pop-up sew day, the next one will probably not be until maybe the first Saturday in December. Not really sure yet. I might have one in the last Saturday of November. because I think actually November works out that we get 5 Saturdays in November this year. So maybe. I will let you know for sure when we get closer to those dates, so not to worry. So some other interesting things that are happening. Well, I got an email the other day from a lady who works with the Canadian Quilt Association. You've heard me talk about them before. I am a member of them, and every year they have the Canadian Quilt Show, which I will be attending this coming June as well, since it's in my own backyard. It's in just in a city just east of Toronto, Mississauga. And but what they were calling me about was to let me know they're going to publish one of my patterns in their spring edition of their magazine. The magazine is only available for people who are members of the Canadian Quilting Association. But nevertheless, this came out of the blue. Well, it didn't. Okay, it's kind of scary, but I don't remember submitting a pattern for publication. I remember submitting a picture of a quilt for their electronic puzzle that they run every month on their website. But they don't publish those in the magazine. And I didn't, the lady didn't, she asked me some questions about myself as well for the blurb. And then I felt like a real idiot because I sent her back another email with the answers to those questions and asked her, by the way, what was the name of the quilt that you are publishing? Because I don't remember. And it's my pattern, my very first pattern that I made, Start When Stars Collide. I don't have any recollection of submitting this. I am still not absolutely sure what format this is going to take. I don't know if they're going to print the pattern or if it's just the picture. I suspect it's just the picture. Maybe I did submit that picture for the puzzle, but they've decided they're going to publish it instead in the magazine. I don't know. And I feel like a real idiot asking a whole lot of questions about my pattern. So, yeah. So this is going to be as much of a surprise to me in the spring as it will be to anybody else who happens to see that edition. I'll keep you informed of all of this when it happens, but it's not till next spring. So I'm not sure what they consider the spring edition. I think that's in about March or April, but not sure. May come out sooner than that. So anyways, yeah, I was very flattered though. No matter what it is, I'm very flattered because, I mean, it's the Canadian Quilters Association. You can't get much bigger than that, really. And I have mentioned before about the charity that I've donated a quilt to called Hope Air. If you haven't heard me talk about that before, very briefly, Hope Air is a charitable organization that has volunteer pilots who have their own planes that will pick up people in very remote areas of Canada and deliver them to health facilities because they need some sort of very serious health attention and they can't get it in their area. And they can't afford to get there, or the distances are really too far. So someone suggested to me, one of my subscribers, when I was looking for places to donate some of my quilts, they suggested Hope Air. And so I reached out to them. Long story short, yes, they were thrilled to have, and that made me very happy, to get one of my quilts. And they've decided they're going to use it as a fundraiser by selling raffle tickets for the quilt to raise money for Hope Air. And that is perfectly all right by me. The thing is, and let me just show you, this is open to everybody. Wherever you live, it doesn't matter. It is a raffle. And I'm just going to put up the site for you to see it here. And so here it is, Hope Air. And they do have my logo up here. And they wrote this very interesting blurb about me. It says, the Idiot Quilter Charity Raffle in support of Hope Air. Enter for your chance to win. One unique quilt made by renowned quilter and YouTuber Stephen Bland. Okay, so renowned quilter? and YouTuber. I don't think I'm renowned. And that makes me a little worried being described that way, because people buying these tickets might be expecting a whole heck of a lot more than we have to offer. But there is a picture here of the quilt, and you have seen this before because I've shown it. And this is the one that is another one of Stephanie Stitch's patterns, so she gets some of the credit for this as well. And this is the one that I named Stephanie's Ninja Stars. I forget what the original name was that Stephanie published the pattern under, but I'm changing the name to Stars of Hope because I think it's more appropriate for Hope Air, and that was a suggestion that came from one of you on the live this week. So thank you very much for that. It was a great suggestion. So you can see the draw will take place on December the 6th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So there's not a lot of time. It's just a month away. So if you are interested in supporting Hope Air and you would like a chance to win this quilt, the prices for the tickets are right here. And you just order them online, and that's in Canadian funds as well. So we'll see what happens. This is not what I intended when I donated the quilt. I just thought, you know, maybe it's probably cold in these plains when, you know, they're taking people to their medical facilities, so it might keep them warm and that kind of thing. I never thought it was going to become this. So, yeah, there it is. So I said, as you're interested, there's the website, and the link for the website is in the show notes below. And I did send out a mailing to my email, my mailing list to all of you that are on that with that link in it and talking a little bit about it. I hesitated to do that because, as you know, my mailing list is only used for, you know, letting you know about Pop-Up Sew Day. That's the only thing. So I hope nobody thought that I was soliciting or anything like that, because that was not my purpose. But I wanted to get the word out about this because the bottom line is I'm hoping that this will make us a significant amount of money to help out Hope Air, because they do such great work. So if you're thinking about buying a ticket, or if you have bought a ticket, I know I got an email yesterday. Someone already bought 2 tickets. And thank you so much for that. I appreciate the support you're giving this organization by doing that. But there is absolutely no obligation. I don't want you to feel that I am putting pressure on you, because no. It's completely up to you. Okay. And actually, disturbingly, after I sent out that email, just as a side note, I had 2 people ask me to remove their name from the email list. And that's fine. You know, I don't send out a lot of emails that way, so I don't like inundating your email mailbox with stuff. It just seemed maybe I didn't really get any clear reasons why. But I didn't ask. That's okay. If you don't want to be on the mailing list for whatever reason, I am more than happy if you send me a request just to take you off. It just seemed like a coincidence. I don't know if they were upset with me because they felt that I was pushing a business. This is not a business. It's a charity. 100% a charity. That kind of thing. But anyways, it was just strange. Kind of made me a little concerned. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about I've already talked about the Canadian quilters. Oh, but let's talk about Quilts of Valor. That is coming up this weekend, and what I mean by that is, you know, I make quilts and donate them from time to time to Quilts of Valor. Well, we've been invited to a sew day at the National Air Museum that's on the Trenton Air Force Base. Trenton is a small town about an hour and a half to the east of me. To come for the sew day, to sew with the ladies. We're going to be working on some kits that produce Quilts of Valor tops. Not only that, though, and what's really exciting is I was invited because a quilt that I donated over a year ago is being presented at a special ceremony that day to a vet. And they want to know if I'd like to attend to see this. And I said, of course I do. I've never been to a Quilt of Valor presentation, and I'm expecting they're probably very emotional as well. In fact, there are 6 presentations that day. I will try to do some video. I have asked one of the ladies that organizes it, that invited us, and when I say us, Walter's going too. If it would be all right if I did do some video for my channel, and she didn't think there'd be a problem, but we'll check it out to make absolutely sure that anybody who might be in the video is comfortable with being in the video. So I hope to get some footage there, and it sounds like it's going to be a real exciting day. It's a big affair because I asked how many people were going to be in attendance, and right now 25. So I had to madly make more of my little maple leaf keychain like things that I've been making and I've shown on here before, because I want to, give each person at the Sew Day one of these. I love to give little things out when I go to events. It's all part of my maker process. So anyways, we're looking forward to that. Everybody's working in teams of 2, so Walter and I will be a team of 2. And yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting event. Okay, so that takes me to what we did this past week on So Chatty. We put the sleeves on to the body of the shirt, to the shoulders. That was a little tricky, sewing curves and the whole bit, but Walter got me through it with no problem. And I think I was pretty successful. According to him, I was. So high praise for my teacher. And so this week we're going to carry on and we're doing the side seams. And I think we're going to start on the collar as well. So that's what's coming up on So Chatty. And I know there's many of you following along with us, and some of you are actually making a shirt as well at the same time. So that's fun. So I hope you're finding the videos interesting. We haven't killed each other yet, but there's still plenty of time to do so. So stay tuned. There could be bloodletting. This might be the week. You never know. Okay, so that takes me to subscribers quilt of the week, and this comes from a regular subscriber here, Elsie Tarochi. This week's quilt comes from subscriber Elsie Tarochi. I hope I said her last name right. And she sent along this beautiful creation for us to enjoy. And she says, I have been sewing even through the stress of everyday life. These days I spend time with small projects. I take my AccuQuilt and have a play at things. But I'm happy to have completed a project I started a year ago using my favorite Janet Clare fabric collection, Into the Sea, which was my biggest project yet. Well, this is a fantastic looking quilt. I just love it. And of course, anything with stars attracts my attention, but I do like your color scheme as well with this. I like how the blues blend in to each other and how the brown is up in the one top corner to offset that section of the quilt, but it all ties together very nicely, and the quilting helps that as well. And the quilting seems to be part of the theme of Into the Sea with the waves going across it. I think this is a really beautiful quilt and an effective use of circles, and I can only imagine how long it may have taken you to piece that. Now, I'm thinking, are the circles pieced or are the circles appliqued? I'm not sure, but either way, it is a gorgeous quilt. So thank you, Elsie, for sharing it with us. And if you have a beautiful creation you would like me to feature here on the Idiot Quilter, all you need to do is just send me one picture of it and a little blurb, less than 50 words. Send it to my email address as an attachment, and I'll be more than happy to feature it here on the Idiot Quilter. Okay, so that takes me to the YouTube of the week, and this one is about a seam gauge. Now, you know, the little metal ruler that everybody's got one in the bottom of their little sewing utility drawer, which you may or may never ever reach for. And the person who's doing this, he goes by the name, and I don't think this is his real name, but he's quite the character. If you've never seen any of his videos, you need to check them out. Cornelius Quilting. Quirling, 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 something like that. Anyways, he did a few months ago, he did a video on the seam gauge, and it's been around for over 100 years, and how to use it. And I learned a lot from that video, but this video caught my attention because it's sort of a update about what he said about the seam gauge earlier, and he calls it apparently I'm using it wrong, meaning the seam gauge. So here's my review of that video. This week's YouTube video clip comes from Cornelius Queering. What a name, right? But he has some really, really interesting videos, and he is a sewist himself. I think he does some quilting as well as garment sewing too. But back a few months ago, he put up a video talking about the seam gauge. You know, the little metal ruler with the little slider on it that we probably all have somewhere in the back of our utility drawer of sewing devices. And I don't know if you use it a lot. I certainly don't. Maybe garment sewers use it more than a quilter would. But he gave a whole video about the history of this gauge and about what it does. Well, he says now he's been using it wrong. And he, in this video, shows us some really interesting things that this little ruler does. Things I never ever knew before. So you need to see this video. It is absolutely excellently done. It's entertaining, and it is very, very educational and informative about this simple little device that's been around for over 100 years. So if you've ever wondered how to use the seam gauge or what the uses are and why there are holes in it for certain things, because yes, those holes are meant for doing all kinds of other little things. You can even make bias binding, he says, with this little ruler. So it's fascinating. I learned a lot. You've got to see it. That's apparently I'm using it wrong. All about the seam gauge by Cornelius Queering. So, future projects, well, actually I have caught up to the future. It is now the past. And what I mean by that is what I'm going to talk about in this video is the Nutcracker wall hanging that I just showed you a few minutes ago. But here's everything you need to know about the pattern or the files in case you're interested in creating your own. This week's future project is not a future project. I've caught up to this. At the time of recording this, when I was thinking about recording this, I had not yet worked on this, but thanks to the pop-up sew day, as you could see, I have it all done. But I thought you'd like to know where to pick this up. And it is the In the Hoop Nutcracker wall hanging decoration. It is by Designs by Juju. I've done many of their designs before. I love their instructions. They're very clear. Their patterns are very, very lovely. And yeah, this one is on sale right now for $4.25 American for it. So it's less than half price. It's about 65% off. And often Designs by Juju and the other sites as well that have embroidery files put things on sale now that we're moving into the Christmas season for that kind of thing. So, you know, it's worth, if you're into machine embroidery, it's worth checking these out now because you can get some real bargains. But this one comes in various sizes, as you can see. Hoop size is 5x7, 6x10, 7x12. The one I created was a 7x12, and I told you it measures about 36 inches in length. So it's the large one, but you can make smaller ones as well, whatever suits your purposes for your decor. Of course, you can do it in any kind of color combination you wish, whatever you like. And yeah, they're a lot of fun to do. So if you're looking for something that might be fun as a Christmas decoration, maybe hang on the front door of your home or in the window or something like that, on your refrigerator, then you might want to check this out. And while you're at Designs by Juju, and I am not sponsored by them or anything like that, you may want to browse through their other Christmas designs as well. So, am I all caught up on my projects? No. Are you ever caught up on your projects? No. Is that a bad thing? No. For me, it's a good thing because I always have something to do every day. And I'm a maker, as I've already sort of alluded to a few minutes ago. I love to make things. I'm constantly making things. I have always been that way since I was a kid as well. I've never considered myself to be an artist. I mean, I can't draw anything, but we all know that there's a much wider definition about being an artist than just being, somebody able to draw a portrait or a landscape or something like that. However, I prefer the title maker because it is. It's a physical act of putting things together to create something new. And that's what I do. And that's why I love doing quilting, because it's always different. Why I love doing in the hoop or machine embroidery projects, why I like making bags, and why I love doing 3D projects, 3D printed projects. That is my second love next to quilting, is doing that. And you have seen, if you've watched my vlog for any length of time, you know that my printers are never silent, except at this very moment while I do this video, so it doesn't come up on the screen. But once I'm off of here today, recording this, I'll be right back at my 3D printers and all my other machines too. So everything keeps me going. But I thought I'd show you what currently I am working on. So this is Lucy Room, where I keep my long arm. You've seen this before in some of my other videos, but I thought I'd show you what I've been working on lately, and this has to do with Christmas and other events that are coming up. So this is my pile of projects. So up here you can see I have a basket of gnomes. A friend of mine is coming to visit in another couple of weeks, and he asked if I would make him some gnomes that he wants to take to a friend, and I said, of course, I will use any excuse to make gnomes. And over here, this was an experimental project that I may be talking about on my vlog at some point in time. It's an experiment that I thought was a good idea at the time, but didn't really pan out. Up here, you can see things labeled Spring Retreat. This is a retreat I'm going to be at, and I'm making, of course, what do you think? Gnomes. But these are special gnomes. They'll have some little things attached to them. And you can see there's quite a few of them. Baskets of gnomes coming out of my ears. Down here is the makings of a little Christmas display centerpiece. I've been making little houses. I started with using color, and then I decided to go translucent so I could put lights and things. I don't know what this is going to look like. I have a few things ordered on Temu for this as well. Sort of on the theme of the Halloween centerpiece I made for my dining room table. Well, I'm going to do something similar with some of these pieces. I won't use them all, but that's how I roll. I usually make a lot of things that look interesting and then start to assemble things for my centerpieces or whatever. These baskets are kind of cool. I made these on my printer, and they're stackable, and they have some little items in them that will eventually go together to create some gift bags for some of the ladies at Ultimate Sewing. This is, I've shown you these before. These are freestanding lace maple leaves with a 3D printed little Canada maple leaf that I'm going to give to each one of the ladies at the Quilt of Valor Sew Day that's coming up this coming weekend. Just as a little fun thing. When I go to events, I like to take a little fun thing to give to everybody because, you know, it's a little unexpected surprise, and that makes me happy. And it especially makes me happy when it makes other people happy. So yeah, this is sort of my storage area here at the moment for all of these ongoing projects. There's some things here in boxes that are marked for the Georgia retreat. There's some bags that I've made as well, which will also be, some of them are gifts. So yeah, and this whole area out here is my seasonal makes, things that I've made for each of the seasons that I use to decorate my house with. So you can see it piles up. I need more space, but soon in the new year, I will gain some space in this cupboard over here where there's a couple of quilts hanging, because those are all boxes of things that I'm taking to the retreat at Christmas time in Georgia. So, and of course I store my old 3D printers here. One of these is going to a friend of mine as well soon. So hopefully when those things go out for those events, I'll have more room to fill it up with more of my little creative works in session. Yeah, so that's what I've been up to. Okay, so that takes me to online quilt stores. And this one is one that a couple of the people who come to Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen mentioned to me. It's here in Ontario. It's in a town about an hour and a half north of me, west of me, called Barrie. I have never heard of this store before. And well, this is a little different review because I decided to review this after these people told me about the bad experience. Yes, the bad experience they had with this particular shop and the shop owner. So I do talk about that near the end of this video clip as well, but I am judging my rating partially on that because I do trust the opinion of the two people who told me about this. And also, I, of course, based it upon what I see in front of me on their website as well. So it's called All About Sewing, and here's my review of that quilt store. This week's online quilt store is called All About Sewing and is located in Barrie, Ontario, which is just north of me by about an hour or so. I have never heard of this store before. I heard about it on one of the sew days with Stephanie. Someone was talking about it, and I'll say more about what they had to say about dealing with this particular store. But right now, this is my first exposure to it, and this is their front page, and it looks like they're definitely into embroidery machines and large embroidery machines at that, as you can see in this picture. They do sell a lot of sewing machines. In fact, they call themselves All About Sewing Machines. So this is probably their principal focus, but we'll see about other things. So they have Juki, Fath, Husqvarna, Ricoma, Singer, Grace, Baby Lock, Bernetta, and Bernina. It looks like they've got the whole gamut of sewing machines. They have some kind of rewards program as well, and they do have classes. They do sell a variety of threads, including Aurifil, Isacore, Metler, and Maxilock. Isacore is one that I should look into a little bit more because I've never used it, and I hear good things about it. And they have a monthly payment program for the sewing machines. And here's a picture of some of their machines and their featured collections, and it looks like they do service and repairs as well. So really, this definitely seems to me to be a store that's more geared towards sewing machines than anything else. But if you look at the top of the screen, they do have a listing for fabrics. So let's check these out. Shop by type, shop by bundle, quilting bundles, and shop by designer. Okay, let's go to shop by 100% cotton. And yeah, actually their interface does not look too bad. They have their vendors down on the side. They don't deal with a lot. They have Three Wishes Fabric, Andover, Anthology, Art Gallery, Banyan Batiks, and Benartex, and something called Bartum Industries. I'm not sure what that is, but there's only one. But they don't seem to have a lot of fabric. Well, I'll take that back. They have Andover fabrics at 121 and Art Gallery fabrics. Let's check out the Art Gallery fabrics because I like Art Gallery fabrics. They have a really nice feel to them. Now, $11.99, I'm assuming that's half a meter. Let's check it out and see if they tell us. So yeah, it looks like, yeah, it's sold by the half meter. So $23.98 a meter, that's expensive. So I'm taking a point off because they are on the upper end, well, the very top end of the fabrics they are selling as far as price is concerned. Now, Art Gallery fabrics do tend to be a little more expensive. The other thing too here I like is, you know, it says sold by the half meter there. Okay, that's good. Total number of variants, good to go. Total unit 2, number of variants. I don't know what that means. But they do tell you here how much they have in stock as well. So that's pretty good. Now they have a pull down, select your fabric length. Well, that doesn't do anything. It just lists it there. Okay, so let's go back to the menu, and let's check something like Three Wishes fabrics, which they have 53 of these. Same price. Okay, so it looks like their price is about $24 a meter for whatever you buy. What about batiks? Yeah, same. Wait, that says Three Wishes. I thought I hit on batiks. Let's try that again. Okay, art gallery fabrics. Three Wishes vendor, art gallery fabrics. This doesn't make any sense to me. I'm hitting on batiks. And batiks are not coming up. So I'm taking off a point for that because that's just stupid, to be quite honest. And that's all art gallery fabrics, but now it says showing 1 of 20 of 178. Okay, I have a feeling that that side menu does not work at all. Let's go down a little further. They do have some $1 cheaper for half a meter. Oh, and that solids look like they're $5.99, so $12 a meter for solids, which isn't too bad. But I'm still leaving the want mark off because their regular fabrics are expensive. Okay, so I'm getting a whole lot of art gallery. It says there's 178, but oh, there's Three Wishes now. So yeah, that side thing doesn't work at all. It just basically it just lists everything that they have. So what's the point of having that sidebar? There isn't a point for that. I'm looking for batiks here, and I'm up to 120 of 178. I suspect we will find batiks, or maybe they don't have any batiks. They just list it. That's a possibility. Okay, so everything's mixed up here. Three Wishes is mixed in with art gallery. No, can't say as I like the search engine whatsoever. And I didn't find any batiks. Okay, but they said they had batiks. So what's that all about? Let's see if I hit the Andover fabrics, what happens. Well, that does come up. So maybe, no, but there's art gallery fabrics are in there too. So I really don't understand how this is organized. Very, very confusing. They do have Benartex. I like Benartex fabrics. Again, Andover fabrics come up. Art gallery. Yeah, now it says a total of 311. Do not understand this. And they all come up here. Okay, clear all filters. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's go to this one. Okay, there's their batiks. $10.99 half a meter, so $21 a meter. That's expensive, as I said before. Do not like this interface that they have here. It is not very logical the way that it works. Yeah, okay. And then they've got more filters, 100% cotton fabric. I'm assuming that just shows you everything. Again, so what's the point? What's the point of all this? All About Sewing has their own. Oh, this is very bad, this interface. I'm just curious to say they got one for All About Sewing, so they have their own fabric line. Well, you got to find it. Yeah, no. Very frustrating. Okay, just for giggles, let's just see how their Christmas fabrics are organized. Okay, well, that's a little better, but again, expensive, $22 on average. Yeah, okay. And nothing there to write home about. All right, so not too impressed by that. What else can we look at? What's this? Shop by a bundle. Quilting bundles. Well, they mean pre-cuts. So what's the bundle part? Why call it a bundle? Yeah, I guess it's a bundle of fabric, but they called it quilting bundle. In my mind, I associate that with a pattern, a kit, whatever. I guess I was wrong. Yeah, the prices on the jelly rolls higher end as well. What now? They do have things listed. Okay, well, they don't have much. I'm taking half a point off for that because they have a separate category for it. But they really don't have anything to choose from. Okay, have I missed anything? Shop by design. Okay, if I shop by designer, let's. Okay, they consider Northcott a designer. Well, I guess they are. Let's go Patrick Loss. Well, at least that interface works, and that comes up. And again, prices are on the upper end. Some interesting ones, though. I'll give them that. There's some things that I have not seen before. I don't need this on my screen. Okay, we know all about they have machines. Okay, needles. Yeah, they have needles for machines. Notions. There's a Husa, bag making supplies. Okay, I do not like the interface. Okay, your standard kind of things. Pretty much standard kind of prices. All right, nothing. They do sell buttons. Books on embroidery and feet, all kinds of books. So they got the big book of Serger Quilting by Bernina. And the big book of machine quilting, all Bernina. Okay, well, yeah, they have notions, they have accessories. Batting. Let's check their batting. I don't expect much here. Yeah, one bag. 120 by 120, $69.99. Okay. It's Hobbs. Nothing there to write home about either. All right, so far I'm a little underwhelmed by this website. So let's check. Let's see, quilting accessories. Your needles. Some feet, some books, some rulers. Yeah, again, a little underwhelming right there. They do have parts. So if you need a part for your sewing machine, that might be good. Now they say they do, go back here to parts for Gnome. I do not like their interface at all. It bounces all over the place. Gnome. That's expensive for the Gnome bobbin case. I pay $40 for it from both Nova Sewing and from my local quilt store as well. So that is overpriced. Oh wait, though, here's another one. I guess it depends on which one. This is more the one that I ordered. Okay, well, that's an okay price. I take it back. I'm not sure how much leeway a dealer has in prices for Gnome parts anyways. But yeah, they have them for various machines, and yeah, 357. So okay, if you need a part, might be the place to look. Threads. Okay, so stay. Aurifil. What are they charging for Aurifil? $200 spool. Okay, 1,300 meters. What? $16.99. Well, that's not bad. That's a little cheaper. The average price right now in Canada for Aurifil for that size for 1,300 meters is about $18.99. So yeah, that's not bad. And they don't have a bad collection of that. And then they have Isacore and things, threads like that. Gutermann, Isacore. So they have, and Mettler. So they have quite a selection of threads. I have no ideas for 1,000 meters, $5.99. I don't think that's an unreasonable price. So really, their embroidery threads are and quilting threads are really not a bad price. Don't have a lot to choose from, or maybe they do. Well, they have a lot of out of stock. So it's for that size. Oh, okay. That's how you pick your color by through that. Okay, that's an interesting interface. I haven't seen that before. Okay, anything else? Well, I noticed they had classes, but let's go. Here's their class calendar. Let's check that out. Open sew on Mondays and Wednesdays for $15. They did have some classes in September, pillow forms, a little pouchy bag. Yeah, that seems to be all they were offering, and that was back in September. And doesn't look like they've had anything since. So I don't think they do classes on a very regular basis either. And if you're going to have a section for classes, then you should have classes. So I'm taking off half a point for that. Now, what about shipping? Do we have a section on shipping? Here we go. Okay, talking about machines, shipping times, but they're not really telling you how much. Okay. Really, there's nothing here about shipping or their fabrics or things like that. So that doesn't impress me much. Okay, so have we anything else we're looking at? Okay, I don't see anything else to talk about this except for one little thing. Two of the people that are regular ones that come out to Sewing with Stephanie and Steven mentioned that they have dealt with this company and they were not impressed. They said the customer service was bad. The lady who owns the store was very, very rude to one of these people as well when they were picking up something, and they were inaccurate in their order, in their supply of the order as well, and were not very kind about it. This is what I hear from two people that I respect their opinions about this store. So because of the bad review from a couple of them, I'm taking off a point. So that means out of 10, I'm giving this All About Sewing 6 out of 10. I've never been there. I've never dealt with them at all. But just looking at everything that I've already said, there's definitely room for improvement here. And I'm really bothered by the fact that a couple of people that I really respect their opinion about something had bad experiences with this particular store when they actually ordered from them. So you'll have to make up your own mind about it. So that's All About Sewing. You may want to check it out. Okay, so just as an afterthought here, I hope you don't think I'm necessarily slamming the store. It is my honest review. I have not actually physically been in the store, nor have I actually ordered anything from their website. So, as I said earlier, I base my opinion upon what I see before me and what I've heard. Okay? Whether that's being absolutely fair or not, I don't know, but just so you know, you can make up your own mind if you decide to deal with them. Okay, so that takes us to the end of this episode of the Idiot Quilter. We're excited, Walter and I, about the Sew Day for the Quilts of Valor event. That's going to be great, and I'll share whatever I can with you about that next week. And I'm just going to keep on making here, and I hope you're carrying on with making. We're coming into the Christmas season, so I'm sure you are madly thinking about the things. Well, don't be thinking. Don't think about what you're going to make. Just do it. Because you're going to wake up one morning and it's going to be December 24th. And then it's too late. So I hope you have a great week. I hope it's a productive week. And we'll see you later. Bye for now.